The Beatles, Something New, 1964. 22 songs, 51 minutes, or 11 songs, 25 minutes, when you consider half the songs are stereo or duophonic and the other half are in mono. Okay, the release date is July 20th, 1964. Producer George Martin and producer assistant Dave Dexter Jr. for Capitol Records. This is the third album for the Beatles in the United States. It's the fourth album if you can count. And this is essentially the U.S. release of A Hard Day's Night. Okay, 5 songs from the movie A Hard Day's Night. And then there are some other songs right here, and then these are the songs from the movie. Okay, so A Hard Day's Night is a movie that the Beatles made under United Artists. And then United Artists released a soundtrack of the album, and then Capitol Records went, oh, we should do something here in America to compete against United Artists, so they released this. This is essentially the same thing, just a different order and a couple different songs. Okay, let's talk about it. So 9 of the tracks by Lennon and McCartney, and then 2 other tracks are covers, and I'll talk about those when we get to them. One by Carl Perkins and one by Larry Williams. Lennon writes the songs that he sings, and he may solicit some input from McCartney, but usually not. Okay, that's not always the case, and I'm not gonna make the distinction here and there on this one, but that's typically how it works. You guys know that. And Paul McCartney songs are sung by Paul, and usually in the early days, John helped with either the concept or the lyrics or the music or the arrangement. But John was the stronger of the two, and so he was more forceful in helping Paul and less vice versa. Okay, no writing credits for George or Ringo on this album, although Ringo has one lead vocal called Matchbox. All right, so that's the album. So let's get right into it. Track 1 is "I'll Cry Instead." It's 2 minutes and 4 seconds. It's credited to Lennon McCartney, and lead vocals are by John Lennon. And this one is in the movie A Hard Day's Night. Okay, this song really has a strong country influence to it. Really, a lot of these songs do on the album, from the early, especially the early Beatles in 1964. They have a strong country, southern, blues, Americana type influence on it, and also really from black rock and roll, if you consider it that way. A lot of people have accused them of stealing, but they openly acknowledged it. Okay, so we'll get to that in a minute. But it has a very fast tempo. "I'll Cry Instead." It's in the key of G major, and it's in conventional 4/4 time, and it's 192 beats per minute, which is super fast. Okay, the verse is 16 bars. "I've got every reason on earth to be mad, because I've just lost the only girl I had." That just sounds like a John Lennon. Okay. And then the bridge is 8 bars. "Don't want to cry when there's people there. I get shy when they start to stare." And there's no guitar solo. And this is one of those super simple Beatles songs from 64. Verse, verse, bridge, verse, bridge, verse. Bang. 2 minutes. In and out, done. Super country, super simple song arrangement, and super familiar key for them, and that's the song. So what more can you say about "I'll Cry Instead"? It's a boy band song. Okay. Track 2, "Things We Said Today," 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Credited to Lennon and McCartney. This one's lead vocals by Paul, and this is the B-side to the song "A Hard Day's Night." Right away, the song has a somber tone because of the minor key, and Paul has his crooner voice going on. So this is it's a key of A minor, and it's in 4/4 time, and it's 137 beats per minute. And the verse is 16 bars. Paul sings, "You say you will love me, if I have to go." And then the bridge is 8 bars. "Me, I'm just the lucky kind. Love to hear you say that love is love." And there's no guitar solo. It's the exact same song structure as the first track, "I'll Cry Instead." So it's a verse, verse, bridge, verse, bridge, verse. So it's like, they're kind of copying each other, but also they're just paying homage to the type of music that they liked in the 1950s, which this is typical of 50s music. So, things we said today. Track 3, Anytime at All, 2 minutes and 10 seconds, or if you're the Beatles, Anytime at All. Lennon, McCartney get the credit, and it's lead vocals by John, so that's an indicator that this is a John Lennon song. It's composed by John, but the middle 8 is by Paul. So this is one that's a little bit different, where Paul did contribute to a John song. And I took that from Wikipedia, by the way. This was also in the release of a British album in the UK called Extracts from the Album A Hard Day's Night, which was an EP they released. Just a few oddball tracks from the movie, okay? Anytime at all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there. Gee, I wonder what John's singing about. It's kind of gross, really, when you think about it. It's in the key of D major. It's in 4/4 time and 144 beats per minute. And the chorus is how the song starts. At 8 bars, it's just him singing that. Anytime at all, dun 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 dun. Anytime at all, dun 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 dun. And then the verse is 14 bars. If you need somebody to love, just look into my eyes. John Lennon, ladies and gentlemen. There's a guitar piano solo of 8 bars in the middle of this. It's not really a solo, but more like a duet. And the piano and the guitar are just playing the same melody of the vocals, the vocal line in unison. It's that, it's kind of like that. And it's nothing too fancy. They're just mimicking what they're singing. And I'm guessing it's George, but it could be John Lennon. Honestly, I didn't research it too hard. It could be either one of them. And the piano could be John. It could be George Martin. I didn't look. I should have looked, but I didn't. Sorry. It's a chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. That guitar, piano, duet, solo thing. And then the chorus and then an outro. So this is the first track for the album that doesn't have this exact same song structure. Okay, Anytime at All. Track 4 is When I Get Home, 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Another one credited to Lennon and McCartney. Lead vocals by John, so that suggests it's a John Lennon song. And it was recorded specifically for this album. I didn't see it on the other releases. I could be wrong, though. This is the song that goes, whoa, ah, dun, 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 whoa, ah. Okay, it's a key of G major, and it's in 4/4 time, 125 beats per minute. And that's the chorus of the song for 8 bars. Whoa, ah, whoa, ah. I got a whole lot of things to tell her when I get home. And the verse is 8 bars. Come on, out my way, 'cause I'm gonna see my baby today. I got a whole lot of things I gotta say to her. The bridge is 10 bars. It's really 8 bars plus a couple of extra bars to set up the next verse. I'm gonna love her until the cows get home. I mean, John Lennon really is a legend. It's almost the same arrangement as track 3, Anytime at All. It's a chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, and out. No guitar solo. Yeah, and that's When I Get Home. Track 5 is Slow Down, 2 minutes, 54 seconds. This is a Larry Williams tune, and it's an excellent cover. In fact, I'll say it's my favorite song on the album, okay? The piano is in the lead, and it's playing the melody, and this is being played by George Martin, he went and did the piano takes after the Beatles recorded. And this was made for the Long Tall Sally EP, okay? So it wasn't necessarily made for this, it's just something that Dexter pulled into it. Now the lead vocals are by John Lennon. So now in the Larry Williams version, by the way, I'm pretty sure he is like a 50s like Black American blues type singer, and you can really hear it. I mean, it's an excellent song. And I listened to both the Larry Williams version and I listened to the Beatles version back to back. They're both cool, by the way. I can't really pick out which one I like better, but here's what's different about them. The Larry Williams version is in D major, okay? And it's 180 beats per minute, which is lightning fast. Not quite as fast as the first song, I'll Cry Instead, which is super duper ridiculous fast. But 180 beats per minute is really fast. And then the Beatles version it's up 2 steps. So they're singing in the key of C major. So instead of D, they've lifted it up, and they kept the same time signature. It's basically the same song. They just slowed it down a little bit to 168 beats per minute. So it's slower than the original track. Okay? There's a 33-second introduction to the Beatles version, which is the main melody of the song that dun 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 dun. It's just a cool song. The verse is 8 bars, and John singing, "Come on, pretty baby, give me one more chance, try to save our romance." Okay, dun 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 dun, and that's the music that's playing. And then the chorus is 12 bars. "Slow down, baby, now you're moving way too fast." Guitar solo is 24 bars. It's very country, Americana, bluesy style. I gotta believe it's George. George back then, he was typically playing all the guitar solos, so I would imagine it's him. It's in the verse. It sounds like him. Okay, it's a verse chorus verse chorus verse chorus outro. My favorite track on the album. Okay, "Slow Down" by Larry Williams. Track 6 is Matchbox. It's a quick one at 1 minute and 37 seconds. And this is another cover. This is a Carl Perkins. Now, if you guys don't know about Carl Perkins, he was like a country artist. And it sounds like country. The Beatles were playing this back in the early days of like 61 and 62 when Pete Best was on drums. And, you know, when they were basically a local band, and then they went to Germany and all that. And then when Ringo came into the band, Ringo took over the lead vocals. So Pete Best was a singer, and then Ringo took it. And it's a country song. Like, when you listen to it, just listen to what Paul McCartney's playing. Listen to the bass line, okay? You'll be like, oh yeah. The Beatles really like these country songs, and you can hear it, and especially in the bass. But also there's a very country, twangy guitar solo in the middle of it too. It's in the key of A major, and it's in 4/4 time, ripping fast, 160 beats per minute. And the verse is 12 bars. And just imagine Ringo, "I said I'm sitting here, watching Matchbox hole in my clothes." And it just kind of goes like that. Da 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 da. That's kind of the song. That's kind of the cadence of the song. The guitar solo is a quick 12 bars. Like I said, this is a real fast song, so it moves fast, and it's just a verse, 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 the guitar solo, and then 2 more verses. And that's it. There's no bridge. They don't repeat the guitar solo. There's nothing. That's the song. Matchbox. Track 7 is "Tell Me Why," 2 minutes and 6 seconds. 2 minutes and 6 seconds, and it's a Lennon and McCartney song. And it's not a famous song, but I'm pretty sure you've heard it before. Even like casual Beatles fans, you probably heard it. The lead vocals are by John, so probably a John song, and it's in the movie A Hard Day's Night. You know, on the cover. I forgot to cover the cover. We'll do that at the end. These are the tracks here. It even says on the cover, "In the movie A Hard Day's Night." Okay, so this is one of those tracks. This is also on the United Artists version of the soundtrack, A Hard Day's Night, which you might have. It's by the way, it's a pretty famous cover. I don't have that album, but the cover, it's like a white and blue, and the pictures of the Beatles in black and white, and it's meant to look like a film, I think. But it's on this, and it's on A Hard Day's Night. It's in the key of D major, it's in 4/4 time, and it's 150 beats per minute. The chorus is 12 bars. Tell me why you cried and why you lied to me. That's the chorus, and that's how the song opens. And the verse is 8 bars. Well, I gave you everything I had, but you left me sitting on my own. And then there's a bridge, which is the third part of the song, which is 8 bars. Well, I beg you on my bended knees, if you'll only listen to my pleas. Da, 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 da. And there's no guitar solo. And by the way, it's the exact same song arrangement as track 4, When I Get Home, just in a different key. This is in D, where that song is in G. So they're reusing their own song structure. It's a chorus, verse, bridge, chorus, outro. It's practically the same song, just in a different key, different lyrics. Okay, track 8, And I Love Her. 2 minutes and 28 seconds, another Lennon McCartney tune, lead vocals by Paul. And I'm sure you've heard this song before too. It's one of the tracks that on the album cover here, it's been recorded, it's in the movie. It's actually in the movie A Hard Day's Night. Okay, by the way, not a bad album cover. You know, you'd think you're getting a really good album here, but it's just kind of... By the way, And I Love Her, if you listen really carefully underneath Paul singing during the verse, someone is playing a really cool, fast, arpeggiated guitar line. Probably George. It could be John, but it's in the key of E major, and then it switches to C sharp minor, which is the same key, just a minor modal. And Wikipedia says that the solo was in F major, which you wouldn't probably catch if you weren't paying attention, you know. It's in 4/4, and it's 113 beats per minute. The verse is 10 bars. I give her all my love, that's all I do. And if you saw my love, you'd love her too, and I love her. And that's kind of the song. The bridge is 8 bars. And love like ours could never die as long as I have you near me. I mean, it's kind of one of these sappy Paul songs that, you know. The guitar solo is 10 bars, and it's the it's the exact same line as the melody of the verse. That's kind of the guitar solo. And it's a verse, bridge, verse, guitar, solo, verse. So it kind of goes back to that familiar song structure of the first few songs on the record. Track 9 is I'm Happy Just to Dance With You, 1 minute and 56 seconds. Lennon McCartney tune, lead vocals by George. Now, if that's the case, probably a John Lennon song. I forgot to look. This one is one of the tracks that says on the album cover, it's from the movie A Hard Day's Night. So it's actually in the movie. It's in the key of C sharp minor, and it's in 4/4 time, 132 beats per minute. And the intro is 4 bars. Before this dance is through, I think I'll love you too. The verse is 8 bars. I don't want to kiss or hold your hand. If it's funny, try and understand. That could be Paul or John, honestly. The bridge is 8 bars. Just to dance with you. Oh, is everything I need. Oh. There's no guitar solo. But so this one, I'm Happy Just to Dance With You, is very similar in arrangement to tracks 1, 2, 5, 6, and 8. It's the intro, a verse, bridge, verse. I'm happy just to dance with you. Track 10, If I Fell, 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Lennon McCartney tune, lead vocals by John and Paul, singing harmony. Vocal harmony in the verse and the bridge. And this is another one that's in the movie. It says right here. In A Hard Day's Night. Okay. It's in the key of D flat. I've never seen that before. 5 flats in a song is D flat. And in general, rock songs aren't in flat keys. Most of the time they're just in A, B, C, D, G, sometimes F. Not B though. It's just very rare to see a D flat. Okay, 4/4 time, 108 beats per minute. There's an 8-bar introduction. Okay, if I fell in love with you, would you promise to be true and help me understand? That's how it goes. And then the verse is 8 bars, plus a couple extra bars, which comes up to 10 bars, but who's counting at this point? If I give my heart to you, I must be sure from the very start that you would love me more than her. The bridge is 6 bars, which is unusually short, I think. Because I couldn't stand the pain, and I would be sad if our new love was in vain. Ooh. No guitar solo. By the way, 6 bars, that's very unusual. Sometimes you'll see like a 8-bar bridge, or you'll see a 4-bar chorus, but not a... You'll never see a really short bridge like that. That's very unusual. The intro, and then it's followed by the verse, verse, bridge, verse, bridge, verse, outro. So it's just like all those other songs I referenced before. Track 11 is Come, Gib mir deine Hand, 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Okay, right here. It's not in the movie. See, it's listed above that. So what this is it's a Lennon McCartney song sung by John. It's a John song, and this is the German version of I Want to Hold Your Hand. But instead of I want to hold your hand, which is a request, and it's a nice thing to ask of a lady, the German translation is more like a command. Come, give me your hand. German. It's in the key of G major, and it's 138 beats per minute, and it's 4/4, and it's just like I Want to Hold Your Hand, but in German. Verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus. This is the most complex song on the album by far, with that kind of song arrangement, having verses, choruses, and bridge. It's very unusual. Okay, in summary, I usually give like a hodgepodge type summary, but this time I'll be a little bit more technical and analytical in the summary approach here. On the first 3 albums or 4, the Beatles like to change up and sing in different keys. G, A, C, C sharp, or D flat, same thing. D, E, except for F major, just one song, Till There Was You on Meet the Beatles. Okay. The second point, every song in this album is in 4/4 time. There's no waltzes, there's no cut time, there's no 7/4, 7/8. No 12/8. Nothing. It's just a straight up 4/4. The third point, tracks 1, 2, 5, 6, and 8. They all have very similar song structure and arrangements. That intro verse, verse, bridge, verse, bridge, verse. This is like going backwards to the 50s. Point 4, most of these songs are coming from John Lennon. And his songs generally are stronger at this point in the Beatles' career than Paul McCartney's songs. And there's really no impact at all from George or Ringo. The song that George sings it's a Lennon tune, basically. Track 5, in the United States, this album, Something New, it sold more than 1 million records. It did that just in a few months. By December 31st, 1964. 1 million records, so from July to December. And by the end of the decade, it sold more than 1.4 million copies. This comes from Wiki. I mean, it's a huge hit. It sold a ton. I mean, the Beatles were... it was just like pulling on the slot machine and a bunch of coins come out, you know. Allmusic.com gives it 3.5 stars. The Rolling Stone Record Guide gave it 5 stars. That's from Wikipedia. The album spent 9 weeks at number 2 on the Billboard Top LP charts in 1964, behind United Artists' A Hard Day's Night. They had number one and number two at the same time. I mean, what can you say about that? That's also from Wikipedia. I mean, they were just huge. There's nothing like it now. But for me, this album is dead last in my rankings of the Beatles. Right by Help, another movie soundtrack. It's not my favorite, it's my least favorite, okay? Something new. I know it sounds like I'm excited about it, but honestly, I don't really listen to this ever. A few times here and there, but I don't like it. Next on the channel, I don't know. I'm batting some ideas around. I might do a Kiss. I might do a Tangerine Dream. I might do something crazy off the wall. I want you guys to know I got this. This is the sheet music. It's really helpful in doing analysis, so it's gonna speed up how I do this stuff. But yeah, what is it? It's the Beatles sheet music collection. It's got vocals, guitar, and piano, and I ordered it off Amazon for about $20, and it's printed by Hal Leonard. Okay. Yeah, so next up, probably going to be Kiss or Tangerine Dream or maybe something just totally off the wall. I don't know. But thanks for listening. I'm out.